think a loan move makes sense now because he hasn't, obviously with his injury, and he hasn't been able to, experience first team football. So you'd imagine, an AFL club of some kind, and I'm hearing, there's lots of interest from League One and League Two as well. And you'd imagine, a League One club would probably be, a great fit for him, even League Two, to, just a massively important experience for these young players, I think, to go out and experience football at that level, because, it's probably a big wake-up call as well. I can only imagine, just like, whoa, this is different, because, the academy is competitive and academy games are, but it's just different, completely different level, isn't it? And obviously, that's important for the players to do. And I think Stewart's definitely one that I'd love to see, how he adapts to that environment. And I'm imagining it will be, he'll adapt well to it. But obviously, you don't know yet. And yeah, I think if he gets a good loan move, I think that could be perfect for him.
Yeah, a taste of League One or League Two defenders kicking him every 5 seconds. It's a nice grounding for these young strikers sometimes. But yeah, I think you're right. I think in terms of his development, like you say, he missed a year essentially with that bad injury. I think he probably needs, and it would probably help him in the future if he was to go out and get some proper first team experience under his belt. Nice lad as well. He came in recently, helped us with the Bobby Firmino documentary, and he lives around the corner from me, so I definitely wish him the best. Next of all, I want to speak about Conor Bradley, because he's sort of emerged as one of the most spoken about youth prospects at Liverpool on the back of his absolutely amazing season at Bolton, where he a clean sweep of the awards. It was essentially for him: young player, player of the season, fans player, everything else you want to sort of clubman of the year, whatever you want to sort of give to him, I guess. He is going to be one. You mentioned earlier, Caoimhe, about Trent's new position. Conor Bradley feels like one who could almost benefit from this. And you mentioned Calvin Ramsey going out on loan as well. So I think we're going to get a good look at Conor Bradley, aren't we, in the pre-season stuff, and perhaps maybe even after.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think he's one that will be involved, you'd imagine, in pre-season at some point, and then going into next season, Liverpool, I think, will assess him in a similar way to Luke Chambers and see, what would be better. Would it be better to loan him out and continue that experience, or, be around the first team and be an option? And I think he showed at Bolton and has shown, at the academy over a number of years that he can be that option, and he is someone that, I remember, I think, writing a piece on him a couple of years ago, just because the excitement around him was just building and building. I think he was about 17 then maybe, and, just someone that has sort of garnered that excitement, because obviously he's a, fully capped international for Northern Ireland, and, there is just so much about him and about his game that is really promising. I watched him at Wembley in the Pizza Trophy final not long ago, and, he just looked so comfortable and at home there, and I think that'll continue whatever level he's at. He just seems like the kind of player that will just keep on adapting. And if you think about those experiences, even playing an international level and doing it at such a young age, I think he was just a little bit older than George Best, making his, debut for Northern Ireland, which is, obviously not an easy thing to do. And, he went and did that, and it's just continued, and just, this out and out professional now, and someone I think, Liverpool fans are excited about for good reason.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it's interesting just how an attacking role he's played as well while he's been at Bolton. Like, he's essentially been a right winger at times, like scoring goals. I remember seeing some highlights, one absolute worldy goal as well. But I think he actually gets man of the match in the Pizza Trophy final that you're talking about there. So he's had a real standout and a bit of a surprise to me, really, because I'm aware of some of the youth prospects we've got. Obviously, you can't help but hear about the likes of Ben Doak, etc. But Conor Bradley caught me off guard a little bit, and obviously he goes and makes a name for himself in League One last year, and all of a sudden, he's about to get a decent opportunity, like I say, with the first team. So one to get excited about. Next one I want to touch on with you is one I can't make my mind up on, not in terms of his talent, in terms of his ability, because I think he's got a lot, but in terms of what happens next, and it's Bobby Clark. In the piece, you sort of talk about Pep Lijnders identifying Clark as one to watch, and sort of very much one that Lijnders and Klopp have got an eye on. But in terms of where he's at in his development, I guess you can just wax lyrical about him for a minute and just say how brilliant he's going to be. But do you think a loan move could be the best option for him this season as well?
I think it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, keep mentioning the players that have been involved early on in pre-season already, training at obviously Kirby, and he's one of them there, that showed up and is getting a Klopp hug like the rest of them. And I think that's because, he has shown over, the past couple of seasons he's been at Liverpool since he joined from Newcastle, obviously his boyhood club, not easy to move, is it? And he did that at a young age. And obviously, as soon as you watched him play, you were like, yeah, there's a real talent. And I think Andy Jones, my colleague who wrote the piece wrote about his swagger. And, there's certain players that do carry that with them onto the pitch. And I think, Bendo could be one and Bobby Clark could be another. That kind of, I'll call it like the Curtis Jones, Trent Alexander-Arnold confidence that certain players just carry. And I think Bobby Clark's definitely got that. I think he's one as well that you kind of don't know what to expect too much from him yet, because he is still a very young player. And obviously, central midfielder, attacking midfielder, he can kind of is a player you could just drop in and, just let him run about the pitch. And that's kind of how he's best, in an attacking sense, very skillful, calm on the ball. And I think it will be interesting to see what happens. Maybe a loan move is the right thing for him, given that he's sort of bedded in, he's comfortable at Liverpool now. And I think, that is, we talk about it as an experience. Even if a loan move doesn't go well, it can be a good experience for players. Remember I did an interview recently with Layton Clarkson, who we've chatted about before, and I think his time at Blackburn, just did not turn out how he expected it. And he said, when I got back to Liverpool, that's when I kind of realised, a lot of things, and that eventually he wanted to move on and play somewhere else. Now he's obviously had a really successful loan at Aberdeen and moved there permanently. So, loan moves don't always go well, but they really do shape you, I think, and shape these young players. So, Clark could definitely be one added to that list, but it'd be interesting to see whether, keeping him at the academy and training with the first team a lot, because, a lot of players do that and then drop down and play, under 21s games or under 18s, depending on your age and sort of the availability too. So, I think they're still getting that experience at the academy, and you sort of like, you're either thinking, well, you're training around these, world-class elite players potentially, and then, dropping down and playing games as well. So, that's still not a bad option for anyone, I wouldn't say. But, going into, like you were saying, getting kicked and pushed around by big defenders in League One, League Two, and the rest of it, is a good way to learn the game pretty quick, I'd say.
Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed the brief section of my amazing chat with Caoimhe O'Neill. If you want to watch the show in full, head to redmenplus.com, and we spoke about the likes of Ben Doak, Luke Chambers and Jarell Quansah and what could be in store for them for pre-season and beyond. And don't forget, you can also use code BOBBY if you sign up as a Captain yearly subscriber, and you will get a year's worth of content for half price. That's shows like that one, all our amazing journal insights, transfer insights, and of course all the Bobby Firmino Best in the World documentary. So get over there and do it now.